Hi everyone, a very warm welcome back to MEC-TEC. We're back out in the garden today and we are working on the new shed workshop parts, bunker, whatever you want to call it. We're going to carry on obviously from where we left off in the last video. We've got the base done, that is all super strong. So now I'm turning my attention to the side panels. Now as you will see by this one, I have given this 3 coats of whatever this stuff is, Cuprinol fence coat paint, which is for sheds as well. So it's had 3 coats of that. You can see the difference in between that and that. Obviously I gave it a sand down first to get rid of all the old mank off of it and everything else. So that is looking really good. If I can get all the panels looking like that. Bear in mind this is a second-hand shed, as I say, donated to me by my mate Dave, so thank you very much Dave. If I can get them all looking like that, I'll be mega happy. So this one doesn't actually need any repair work. It's going to need a bit of modification to this corner because of the way that this concrete base is that's already there. I'm going to need to notch this corner out because it's not going to sit far enough forward to obviously accommodate what's already there, if that makes sense. So you'll see when I get in position what I mean, but for the minute I think I can get this one down there and just start sort of eyeing it up and seeing what I need to do, and then that will then lead me on to having a bit more space to sort out the back wall, get that all rubbed down and painted, and we need to do a few repairs to that one I think because it's a little bit rotten along the back. Got some new wood to go in there for that, so that is going to be the plan hopefully. I'm still not 100% sure yet which way round I'm going to do. I was going to do it with the walls up first, then put the floor inside, but as I said at the end of the last video, I'm not sure whether the walls cover the width of the frame on the wood, so I may need to put the floor down first. So jury's out on that at the moment, but we'll get to that obviously in due course. So I'm going to get this moved down there if I can on my own. Just start sort of eyeing a few things up, seeing what I need to do and where, and I'll come back to you and I've got a bit more progress. Right, I have a new issue. Having got this side in the area it's going to be, as you can see, I didn't take into account the top hitting the old shed because it's cut on a diagonal, which means I can't get it anywhere near at the bottom where it needs to be. So it's looking like at the moment that I'm going to need to take this other shed down first, which is not ideal because in order to do that obviously I've got to empty it, and in order to do that I need to put the stuff somewhere. So it may be that I have to get back on the super van build, get the body back on the van, because then that will allow me some space in the garage to temporarily move the stuff out of here into the garage so I can get rid of that shed or summer house as it was and get this one put up. That is what I'm thinking at the moment. I can't think of any other way of doing it at the moment because this law of physics, it can't go anywhere because that's in the way. So yeah, that's the predicament I'm in at the moment. Obviously I'm going to need to trim a few more of these trees back as well, which I knew anyway. I've trimmed a couple back, as you can see there. There's the saw. So yeah, that is where I'm at the moment. Not really sure what to do at the moment. I've just been sort of sitting here thinking about it, and that is the only solution I can come up with at the moment. So I shall come back to you when I've got it in my head what I'm going to do properly. Right, there we go, that is that all painted. Now you're thinking to yourself, hang about, that was red a minute ago, and you'd be right, it was. I was halfway through painting this side when Mrs. MEC-TEC came home. She said, why the hell have you painted it that colour? I said, well, what's the matter with it? She went, it's horrible. Oh, there's a site foreman. Get off my side panel, you. Anyway, so she didn't like the colour basically, so I've gone over it again with green in now. As you can see there, that's had 3 coats of green and 2 coats of red, so that is mega protected. This one's had 3 coats of red and 2 coats of green, so that is mega protected. That one's covered a bit easier. And the one behind here has had 1 coat of red as an undercoat and 3 coats of green. So they are all painted, looking absolutely marvellous. Now you will notice that the bottom of this panel is all rotten, as is that one over there. So I've got some new log lap to go on there, 1 new piece to go along the bottom. I've got a few bits obviously, but 1 new piece to go along this bit. So the next thing I need to do is get this panel moved onto the grass up the other way, and then we can take that rotten bit of log lap off the bottom there, make a new bit of frame inside, because the bit of frame that runs along the bottom there is actually gone completely. That's what I've got this wood here for. That I've had they were the offcuts off of these beams, luckily enough, so they'll do just fine. I'm going to get this flipped over. We'll get all the bits cut off, rotten bits, put a new piece in, get a new bit of log lap in, get that section then painted green, and then that will be that panel ready to go into position. Now, as I said earlier in the video, I can't put the shed up before I take this one down now, because of it getting in the way of this diagonal section. So I'm just getting everything prepped sort of as much as I can, and we are going to have to take this shed down. Now that's not going to be an easy task, because you can see it's absolutely rammed in there. So yeah, it's yeah, I'm kind of putting that bit off at the moment, which is probably why I'm doing all these other things, but there we go. So let me get this moved over, and I'll come back to you when I can show you what we've got to do. Right, there we go. As you can see there, it's up the other way now, after a bit of huffing and puffing and struggling. And as you can see, these bottom struts have rotted a little bit there. That one's okay. Obviously, if I'm going to put a new piece of wood in, I think I'm going to cut it at the top of this slat, if that makes sense. And then that will obviously, because the slat should actually come down level with the bit of wood that was on the end. Obviously it's rotted away and the bit of wood's gone, so I'm going to need to cut it a little bit higher to get rid of the rotten wood. The thing that held me up when I was trying to lift that round there then was this cable. As you can see, it's still got a plug socket on it. It goes over there. It's not plugged into anything, don't worry, but yeah, so I'm going to get the circular saw onto this, set it to the depth of this wood, cut it I think on that height of that, get a new piece of wood in there, and then we can flip it over and put the new slat back on the outside, and that should be good to go then, hopefully. So the rest of it's absolutely perfect, as you can see. So I'm out of breath. I'll come back to you in a minute. Rightio, this wood I'm using is 70mm. The wood that was on there on the bottom of this was 20mm, so I've measured up 50, and then that should be right then. So I've got that measurement, I've transferred it across all of them. So I'm going to go along there now with a circular saw, cut those, and then we can get our new piece offered up. Rightio, that is our new piece of base wood in there. As you can see, I've put a block in each corner as well. This end, because I cocked it up and cut it slightly too high. Don't know why, I must have put 2 marks on it and I went on the wrong one. And that end because the bottom of that wood is not strong enough to screw into, basically. So I've put a block in the corner there to obviously strengthen that up. I've screwed it through this way and this way as well, so that is nice and strong. So now we've done that, we can get it flipped over, get a new piece of log lap on the outside, get that nailed on, and then get it painted. And then this panel is all repaired and good to go in. Top banana. Rightio, as you can see, I've got the panel flipped over and I've got the piece of log lap laying on there. I haven't cut it to length yet. I'm using screws rather than nails just because that's what I've got, and obviously as long as it's on there, it's on there. You ain't going to see it once it's covered in paint and around the back of the shed, so I'm not too worried about that. Now I've noticed that this end, for whatever reason, the wood sticks out, and as it goes along it gets to the other end and it's pretty much flush. So whoever made this shed in the first place and made it square, which is not ideal. So what I might do is just run a circular saw along here, just to take this shaving off this end so it's level with the log lap, so that it doesn't look odd when it's sitting obviously flat on the floor. It's either that or this bit of wood's been cut wonky that I'm using, because obviously that was an off cut of wood from the beams down there, so not really sure on that one, but may have to adjust that slightly just so that it's sitting flat with the bottom. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I'll just run a circular saw along it and take a sliver off. It should be absolutely marvellous. So I'm going to go along, get all this screwed on. You don't need to see me do that, it's pretty self-explanatory, and I'll come back to you once it's all done. Right, there we go. That is cut to length and trimmed off over there as well, so that is all good to go and hopefully straight. I'm going to give this a coat of the old green paint now, to try and match it in. It's going to need a few coats, but obviously I'll get a few on there, let it to dry in between obviously, and I can look at the other sides while I'm waiting for that, to see if they need any repairs. I know this was the main one, I need to check the other ones out just to see whether they need anything doing to them as well. So I'll get this painted and I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, there we go. That is that bottom bit repaired on that panel now. It's had 4 coats of paint, so it matches the rest of the panel. As you can see, looks really nice. I've got to put a little bit of sealer in between these 2 panels here, because this the bit that overlaps there is split away unfortunately, so I'm going to need to sort that out so nothing can get through that in time. But I can do that when that obviously the shed is up. So I think the next thing now I need to concentrate on is going to be clearing that, because I can't really go any further now with that shed in the way. I've decided that I need to empty it and get that shed down, I think, because otherwise I just can't work down there. There's not enough room. So I'm going to clear a space in the garage, hopefully a little space just around here, and we're going to try and empty that out. Now I'm going to have to move this obviously back down the end there where it was, get that out of the way, and then we'll obviously start the process of demolishing that, unfortunately, which is going to be a bit sad really, because it's been there for 30 odd years. But anyway, I'm being sentimental, I've got to try and switch off from that. Just get the job done. So I'm going to get this panel moved back down there, and then we'll go from there. Rightio, as you can see, I've cleared this front section. All the wood is now over there, and the ladders and everything else that were there, and that is what we are faced with. So this is what I've got to try and make room for. I don't know, there's probably a few bits of this that can stay outside, which is kind of handy, like all the tins of paint and stuff like that. In fact, some of those can probably be gotten rid of. There's 2 shelving units, one there and one there, which I need to move somewhere else with all the stuff on them somehow. So I think the next thing I'm going to do before I even touch this is head into the garage and try and make a space. I was hoping to get the supervan body back on before I did this, but as you'll see in the next video for the supervan, not having a lot of luck. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, I'm going to go in the garage, get that cleared. I won't bother filming that, it's pretty boring, and then we can obviously carry on with doing this and getting this cleared out so we can start taking it apart. This is quite sad for me because there's a lot of memories in this old shed. I know it sounds daft because this used to be my dad's workshop when he lived here, and then he moved into that one, and obviously then this one became more storage, you know. So yeah, and obviously since I took the shed down that was down here, all the gardening stuff's gone in here now as well, so it wasn't always this cluttered up. It was quite clear in here, and I could sit in here. It was like a little office. You can see there's a workbench under there, which has actually got a bike on it now, Mrs. MEC-TEC's bike. So yeah, I need to obviously sort of go through stuff and obviously sort it out. But one worrying thing was I opened this second door up, which doesn't get open very often. It's got a deadbolt at the top there, and it wouldn't actually open past this. So it shows that the whole shed is now sunk, and it was using the door as part of its structure, which is slightly worrying. So yeah, it's definitely seen better days, I think, this poor old shed. But it's done its service. It's been repaired umpteen times. It's done really well. So right, I'm not going to waffle on. I'm going to get the garage sorted out, and then I'll come back to you. Right, well, if you can call that a space, that's a space. This garage is absolutely ridiculous. That's why I need to get this workshop sorted out ASAP, because I've literally got no room for anything. So at least I think I can get both the shelving units in there. They might be back to back and close up, so you can't get to anything, but that doesn't matter for now because it's only going to be temporary. So I'm going to start moving stuff, I think, from the other shed or summer house, whatever you want to call it, into here, and obviously get that other one cleared out hopefully, and it should all be marvellous. Right, I've just moved a few of the sort of garden bits out and stuff like that, and as you can see, after a lot of the bulky stuff's gone, there isn't actually that much in here really. I mean, there is, but it's not as much as what it looks, if that makes sense. So the next thing I'm going to do is get these boxes off this rack. Got a gearbox down there for a Puma. Get all that off of there. We'll get that rack out first of all, then we can get that put in the garage and get them boxes put back on again. That'll be the easiest and quickest job, and then we can do the same with that one in their corner there, and obviously then that will free up that whole side then, and then we've only got all the sort of bits and bobs down here then, which we've got to sort out. So it might not be quite as bad as I thought putting it in the garage for a temporary, because as I say, it's a bit tight for space everywhere, but we're sorting it out, and I need to obviously spend a bit of time going through a lot of this stuff once I've got the new workshop, shed, bunker, parts, whatever you want to call it, up, and then obviously we can maybe organise things a bit better and not keep everything maybe, because I think I've got quite a lot of rubbish in here, as you would expect from looking at my garage. So there you go. Right, let's carry on. Right, after a lot of huffing and puffing, as you would have just seen, we are getting there. I just thought I'd stop here and show you a couple of things. This here I've just unearthed. It was my dad's first multimedia PC. This has got Windows 95 on it. Still works. We got this at the Pickett's Lock Radio Fair in about 1995, I want to say. 95 or 96, one of the two. And this little thing next to it was his previous computer, which was an Amstrad PC 5286. So it's a 286 megabyte hard drive. It's tiny, with a 3.5-inch disk drive on there. It's got virtually nothing on the back of it. It's all serial ports, proper old school, but I love it. I'll have to get these booted up one day and maybe show you. And also here I've got, this is a window frame that I made when I was doing my sitting guilds in carpentry all them years ago. All the joints on there, I don't know what you, mortise and tenon joints I guess they are, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, shaped all this on a machine. So there's another little bit of history. So there's a lot of history in this house, in this shed. I know it's sad, I know, but it's the way I am. I can't help it. You can see my knowledge map on the wall there. My board with all my notes on it where I used to sit. I used to sit at this desk right here for hours and hours on end, trying to learn all the roads and the knowledge. You can see all my little sayings. There was a road called Effingham Road, so I nicknamed it Effingham Hill. So yeah, there we go. All the little things that we used to use to try and remember different routes and whatever else. And Lucy's drawn on there, school's out, yay. And Mrs. MEC-TEC's drawn on there, Fred the Man. That's her little character she draws. So I left that on there because I never used that bit of the map because that was sort of no man's land. So yeah, it's certainly got a lot of history, this old shed, I tell you. But as you can see now, I've moved that fridge out of the way. Under the carpet here, it is very, very rotten. In fact, the wall's not even connected to the floor anymore. That's how rotten it is. So it is definitely past its best, unfortunately. It has been a great shed. I know it's funny saying it's a great shed, but anyway, it's. So I've got a few more things to clear out under here. Not a lot. There's a few bits of few packs of laminate floor in there. I might use that in the new shed workshop as a nice floor. Maybe I should have enough there to cover it. I would have thought, possibly. We'll have to see. If not, I'll get some tiles or whatever to put down. Something that's easy clean and easy sweepable, you know. So got dartboard under there as well. I've set that up. That's another thing I made under there. Full of spiders. It's like a little key box. Again, made at carpentry school, college, whatever you want to call it. 2009, no, earlier than that, 2007, something like that. 2010 I started the knowledge. So yeah, another little bit of history there. Whoa, big old spider on the back of it, get off. Don't do spiders, go away. Has he gone? Yep. Right, I'm going to get rid of this, get all this other stuff sorted out. I've got a lot of stuff outside I'm going to have to go through just to see what I can leave there, and I can't. Maybe I'll stick a tarpaulin over it and just leave it all there. Weigh it down with some rocks or whatever, that will probably be fine for now. Hopefully it'll be fairly temporary, assuming I get my finger out and get this done. And yeah, so I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, there you go. The old shed is now completely empty, minus that vise. That vise has actually been here since my dad was in here as well. So I've just got to take that off, take those things off the wall. I've got the board down already. I'm kind of dreading doing this, to be honest with you, because as I say, I'm sentimental. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. It's time to move on. So I'm gonna, as I say, take those things down. I might put the map back up in the new workshop on the wall, just as a bit of a homage to the old one, you know. Not all the bits around it, just the map. And Fred the Man. He can be my little workshop mascot. So yeah, right. Still got lots to do. That mouse thing's still chirping away, which is really annoying, but I'm gonna have to switch the power off now because obviously I need to disconnect all those plug sockets, and that is a mess. So I'm going to need to sort that out as well, and the electrics and whatever else. It's got armoured cable running to it, but yeah, I need to obviously go and switch it off in the garage to make sure that everything's dead down here, and then I can obviously carry on from there. Start. I think the first thing I do is a snail on the wall there. Go on, snail. You go out there in the garden. First thing I need to do is get all this old hardboard off the wall, or the carpet up, then the old hardboard off the wall. And then I can obviously see what's actually holding it together as far as the roof and the walls. I don't think the walls are going to cause too much problem, but the roof I redid probably about, well, when I was still on the knowledge, so at least 8 years ago. Well, at least 6 years ago, but it's probably more like 8. And I did it with loads of felt, I'm trying to think what it's called, this stuff, look, felt adhesive. I didn't use nails, I used felt adhesive. It's like bitumen tar type stuff, and I did 2 layers of it. So I did an under layer and I did a top layer, and it's never leaked, but obviously it's probably quite strong, so I'm gonna have to try and get that off as well. Probably gonna involve cutting it with felt, I would have thought. So yeah, I'll come back to you in a minute, I guess. Rightio, as you would have just seen, I'm now completely stripped out inside, and the worrying thing is the hard board that I've just taken off had become structural, because this wall in the corner here is not even connected. It's not connected to the roof. The whole thing, so if you can see that on camera, is literally rocking. So you can see air through there. You can definitely see air through there. So it has definitely seen better days. I think the next step is going to be to get up on the roof, cut the felt down the middle, and then try and lever these panels off with a crowbar or something, and see if we can get those off. If we can get those off, then obviously the walls will come down fairly easily then. There's quite a lot of weight on that roof, obviously where the felt and everything on it. You can see all the paint what I put on to seal it all up. It never leaked, so obviously done a good job. Still a little bit sticky now. It's been on there probably, say, 7-8 years, I guess. So certainly saved it, because the roof was starting to leak in this corner slightly. You can see the cracking in the wood there, and it's just sealed it all up. So it's good stuff, that is. I might use that again on the new one. I was on and on whether I should do torch on felt or whether I should use that again. I haven't got a torch, so I'd have to buy one if I did torch on felt. So yeah, there we go. So that's it all gutted out. It doesn't even look like the same workshop anymore. It was nice and bright in here before when it was all white. Shows you what difference a coat of white paint can make. That's definitely why I'm going to paint the garage white, I think, because it's going to brighten it right up in there. Hopefully make it a bit easier to see and do stuff, you know. But you can see that starting to rot there. So yeah, it's definitely done well, this old shed. Right, I'm going to get up on the roof and see what we can do with that. Right, I've hopefully got you at a safe distance away. I've been up on the roof and I've cut a slit down the middle, and I'm going to try and now knock the roof out from the inside. It is a rather large hammer, hopefully. Push that open with something. You can see a bit better. Right, this is very, very, very rickety. Right, once the roof's off, I don't think it's going to take a lot to push it over. That didn't take a lot, did it? It's off already. What we call raising the roof. Holding that. One off. I've got to be careful this side because I don't want to hit my new panel. Wasn't even attached. Maybe that bit was. Do this one a bit more careful. Can't just let it go. Fall on me. I might actually reuse some of this roof for the black bit on the side of the new shed. Nothing wrong with it. We'll reuse it. So again, right. It's off. I don't think you've got hit. Oh, dusty. That corner's already, hopefully you can see. That corner over there is already loose. that one now. Just like that, no more shed. Ah dear, that was not held together with a lot at all, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was very rickety. I think the hardboard and the felt were holding it together quite well. So I'm just going to spend a bit of time now, probably breaking up some of these panels, breaking up the floor, and generally having a big clear up. And then that'll be nice and cleared in for us to carry on with the new shed, which will be absolutely marvellous. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode on MEC-TEC. As you can see, the shed is now in a million pieces. Quite a sad day, for me anyway, but there we go. As you can see, the trampoline is now in its place, and that is where that is going to stay, hopefully. So yeah, that has been some mega progress in this video. We can now crack on and get the new one built, hopefully. That's the plan anyway. Once I've had a massive clear up, I've done about 1 million dump runs. So if you do like what you see, make sure you do 4 things for me: like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. It's all free, it costs you nothing, and it really helps me out on the channel. Would really appreciate it. If you do like projects like this, obviously normally it's on cars and things like that, but at the moment we're sorting out this new workshop. So yeah, I have got Instagram, MEC_TEC1985, and I have got Facebook, MEC-TEC, for little sneak peeks during the week of what I'm up to. And all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures or carpentry capers, then make sure you tune in again next time. Cheers guys.